and welcome to the day we're going to talk about focus and motivation. So as you can see, I'm kind of in a different location than I normally am. I'm in my car. This is the life of a crazy oil lady that also is a parent, so I have a lot going on. So I wanted to make sure that I still gave you guys your video, but yeah, life happens. So here I am in my car about to do an oil class, and it's still gonna rock. So we're gonna jump right to it because I'm also afraid that I might not have enough room on my phone for this, so we'll see. Let's do it. So today, focus and motivation is going to be the topic. There's so many things that I could talk about with this, but I really want to touch on some quick tips, some easy tips, some things to get things done, and then also some products too. Everything else will be in the email, so make sure you check out the email and all the additional information as you have the last couple days. Some focus and motivation. Yes, I do have notes because I can't remember anything, because I may be able to focus, but I sure cannot remember things. Anyways, one of the things, before you do anything, organize your to-do list. So if you put it in categories, whatever works best for you, organize it. So I personally like to do like categories, like things that I physically have to do, like around the house. So if I have like housework, I'll do a list for that, and then I'll also do a list for like computer, phone, business kind of things too, so I have two separate sides so I can balance it that way. Another thing that I just started to get into, because I just had to overhaul everything that I do, I started doing time blocking. Haven't perfected that yet, but it's a work in progress, and I've really liked what I've done so far. So start time blocking and try to figure that out. I kind of figure out my day, like I have my breaks at work and my drive at work, and I actually figure out what I'm gonna do during all those spots. So a lot of times on my drives to and from work, what I'll do is I'll listen to like podcasts or classes and things like that, and then during my breaks I'll do that as well, and I'll do more of like my social media and stuff during that point. But that obviously will change for whatever you're doing. And then when I'm talking about this too, when it comes to focusing, I'm talking about all aspects of life, not only work but home too, because if you get your home life figured out and organized, then you're going to be able to do your work better too. So this is kind of all goes hand in hand. Time block, definitely time block your work life. I know I always did that when I was a manager. I always time blocked my day, but time block your personal life too. Like, make sure you're figuring out what you're going to do on those 15-minute breaks. Even if you're like, I'm going to time block to sit and do nothing, schedule it. So just one of those things. Another thing that I absolutely love, and if you are in retail and you're in a management position, you may already be familiar with this. It's called the 4 square method, and I will include a link in the post for today. But it's a really great concept of figuring out what you really need to do, what's urgent and needs to be done right now that you need to do, versus something that's not really important. And when you really have those 4 squares to look at them, it's interesting because a lot of times, a lot of things are going to fall into that category where you'll realize, I don't really need to do this right now. This is not important. Or you can delegate it to someone else. And that is so, so important to be able to do that. Again, in not only your personal life, but your work life too. One of my other tips too is have a reward in mind. So when you hit that point of January 1st, I think it was always like January 3rd-ish for me, the end of holiday, the end, when floor set is done, when seasonal hiring is done, when everything is done, have something to look forward to other than that date. So maybe that date you decide, you know what, I'm gonna indulge and have something amazing for lunch, or hey, maybe I am gonna take an extra day off, use some of that PTO you weren't allowed to use during the holiday season, and take that day off. Do something for yourself that day that really just signifies I did it. Along with that too, celebrate the small wins. So I think so often when you're in retail, you don't really celebrate the small wins. And I think it's so important that you do, even if it's like celebrating that you made an hour sales goal. I think so many times you have that sales goal for the hour, you make it, and you're like, okay, great, what's the next hour? Okay, great, what's LY? Okay, great, what's stretch? You're never really celebrating in the moment. Maybe you just had one of the best hours of your entire holiday season, and the first thing you think of is, how can I do this better? Although it's great to have that mentality, you also still need to make sure that you're celebrating your wins. You just did something absolutely amazing, whether it's making an hour as a manager, or maybe you're a brand new seasonal sales associate and you just had like a $500 sale. Celebrate those wins. definitely celebrate those. And if you're a manager, celebrate them with your associates too. If one of your brand new associates just had an amazing sale, recognize that, celebrate it. It's going to benefit not only them, but you and just everybody all around to have that like positive energy, rather than being like, okay, that's great, go do it again. I used to have a manager that was like that, and it was so unmotivating. She was just like, yeah, okay, sure, all right, keep going. And it was like, ugh, I just did something really amazing, and the best thing you can say is like, yeah, okay, go do it again. Yes, that might be what you're thinking, but you need to show that appreciation. Appreciation can go so far. And now that I step back, I wish now that I would have showed that even more when I was in a management position, because that can make a world of difference, such a big difference. The next thing kind of goes along with just working together. Listen. What was that thing? Listen, Linda, whatever that thing is. Go watch that. You need to do that. You need to listen to people. Whether you are a manager, a district manager, or a seasonal sales associate, listen to your people. If you're an associate, listen to your managers, what they have to say. Actually listen to them and do that. And ask questions. That's another thing. If you don't understand something, ask questions. If you're a manager, listen to your assistants and your associates. You may think you know all. You don't. You are busy planning and scheduling and doing all of these managerial things that a lot of times you miss a lot of the small gaps. So listen. I cannot stress that enough. Another thing, the very last tip, stop. Just stop. So when you finish doing something, just stop. And I talked about this a couple days ago. Forget which video it was. It might have been the first one. Stop and collect yourself. If you just had the craziest rush hour, maybe it's Black Friday, you just killed it in the morning, stop. Just take that 15-minute break at that point. You just had something crazy happen. Collect yourself. Maybe you just had an outrageous hour, blew your sales goals out of the water. Stop. Go grab a drink from the back room. Just take a second to recognize the amazingness you just did. And on the reverse side, maybe you just had the worst hour ever. Stop and collect yourself and think, okay, so what did I do wrong and how can I make it better? And that goes for all spectrums. If you're just a seasonal sales associate that just started, or if you're a sales associate that's been there for a while, take that moment and still stop and think and recognize and kind of just collect yourself. I cannot suggest that enough. That couple seconds can make a world of difference. Okay, sorry. I forgot to get my oils out to talk about them. All right, so let's talk some oils and how you can support your system. I talked about a lot of different products the last couple days. So the one thing I do want to say is if you watched yesterday's video about the Lifelong Vitality, definitely check that out. I cannot suggest that enough for focus and motivation. Those supplements are going to help support your core and just get you to that baseline to really help you with your focus, especially when it comes to the omegas. So if you get a chance, go watch that because that'll help with your focus. And also, before I even say anything more, I am focused on you guys, but I am sitting in a parking lot with a bunch of my coworkers walking around me leaving. So yes, it is a little distracting and hard for me to focus. Anyways, let's talk about the first oil that I am in love with, and I actually decided it would be a great time to do this video because I use this oil at work, so usually I keep it at work, but it's the In Tune blend. I love this. This is actually the Focus blend. It's great because it's already in the roller bottle like I had mentioned yesterday. Roller bottles are life. So it's so easy to just roll it on your temples, your wrists. I love to put it like on the back of my neck. It smells beautiful and it really just helps you focus, concentrate, and also helps ground you too, because a lot of times when it comes to focus, the reason why you can't focus is you're overstimulated. So you constantly have tons of things going on, there's people running around, there's so many things, and you can't really just focus on the task at hand. So In Tune is going to help you with that. The next one is Motivate, and I don't think it'll focus. I love this one to diffuse at work. It smells, I keep smelling all these because they're so great. This one, oh, it has peppermint, clementine, coriander, melissa, rosemary, and vanilla. It is beautiful. So this is really great because it's going to help you focus, but it's going to encourage you and motivate you, and did I write down anything else? Confidence. It's going to help with the confidence too. So when you need motivation and you need to focus, those are great things that you're going to need. And that fragrance, oh, it's just beautiful. It is, I love all the emotional line. And if you get a chance, definitely pop on my main site too and check out my emotional classes. I cannot suggest that enough. There's so much research behind how your sense of smell can actually affect your emotions, rather than just being like, oh, it smells pretty. No, there's actually scientific research that shows why and how smelling certain things can affect your actual physical being. And it's so interesting, and that's why I dedicated an entire class just towards that, because I love it and I think it's so cool. The next two oils, they're pretty basic, but they're powerhouses. So this is going to be peppermint. Most of you have heard of peppermint. This is my go-to. It opens the airways. It's uplifting. It gets you going. So a lot of times when you're just, you can't find the motivation and you're just, like last night, I had so much to do before I went to bed. All I wanted to do was just crawl in a ball and fall asleep. And I was like, no, Vanessa, I need at least a good 45 minutes to get stuff done. I put a drop of peppermint on my palm. The model leader Kim showed me how to do this. Super easy. Maybe. There we go. One drop. That's all you need. Rub your hands together. And just inhale. Amazing. My airways are instantly open. It smells so good. So energizing, so uplifting. Opens those airways, because a lot of times that's all you need. Open up those airways, get you going, get that blood flowing. It's amazing. So peppermint, guys, you can use it aromatically. So like I was going to say, I don't think I said it yet, you don't have to have a fancy diffuser. You can literally put a drop in your hand, rub them together, and breathe in, and that is diffusing. And I think so many people think, well, I can't have a diffuser at work. I don't have a diffuser. I don't know how to do this. You can even have something simple. I don't want to show you my badge because it has all my information on there, but this little thing, see that? It's a little bead that I keep right on my badge at work that I can put a drop of oil on. Love it. Super easy, super simple, and it's diffusing, and I get the oils. All right, last one, guys. Gonna make this quick. Wild orange. Wild orange is awesome. So like peppermint, it's gonna be uplifting and energizing. It is so refreshing. I just can't get enough of peppermint. So refreshing and just so grounding too. I absolutely love it. And it's a citrus oil, so it's going to get you energized. It's going to get you going. And the great thing is you can actually use it internally too. So both the peppermint and the wild orange, you can just pop in like a drop or two max in a bottle of water, and you get that internal benefits too. So it's really great, and both of them are really just going to help with metabolism and energy, which is what you need when you need to focus and get motivated. And I think that's about it for today, but if you guys have any additional questions, please just let me know. It's starting to get dark out here because our sun is setting so fast right now with time change. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this class. If you have any questions, let me know, but definitely make sure you check out the rest of the email because I'll have so much more information on there on how to stay focused and motivated throughout the holiday season. I will see you guys tomorrow, in which I will be talking about